Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're continuing our journey through Savitri, but taking a little detour today, one that will add another layer to your understanding of the epic.
Yeah, we're stepping outside the poem itself for a bit. We're going to explore a parallel story of Savitri from the Mahabharata.
A parallel story.
Right. This tale is told by the sage, Markandeya, and it really sheds light on why Sri Aurobindo was drawn to Savitri, this remarkable, figure.
So we find ourselves in the Vana Parva, the Book of the Forest,
Exactly.
with the Pandavas, in exile.
Yes. They're seeking wisdom from Markandeya. And Yudhishthira is burdened by his trials. He asks if any woman has ever faced hardships like Draupadi.
And that's where the story of Savitri comes in.
That is where Markandeya begins, the extraordinary tale of Savitri.
It's a brilliant way to tell the story, isn't it? The story within a story.
It really is. I mean, embedding this timeless story within the epic of the Mahabharata suggests that Savitri's strength and resilience are a source of inspiration, even for those facing insurmountable challenges.
And this story begins with a king.
It does. A king named Aswapati.
What can you tell us about this king?
Well, Aswapati ruled the Madra kingdom, and he truly embodied the very essence of Dharma. His reign was prosperous, his people content, his wisdom renowned. But there was something. A deep longing gnawed at his heart. He yearned for a child, an heir to carry on his lineage and uphold his family's dharma.
It sounds like that yearning for an heir goes deeper than just personal desire.
It does. In ancient Indian culture, lineage and legacy were so important. A son especially was considered essential for performing ancestral rites and ensuring that the family's spiritual heritage continued. Aswapati's yearning wasn't simply wanting a child, it was a profound responsibility to ensure that his family's dharma would be carried on.
So faced with this responsibility, what does he do?
He embarks on a really extraordinary path, a path of intense spiritual practice.
Tapasya.
Tapasya, yes. For 18 long years, he dedicates himself to goddess Savitri. He performed 100,000 oblations daily with unwavering devotion.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, that level of commitment speaks volumes about his yearning and his faith.
It really does, and his dedication did not go unnoticed. The goddess, moved by his sincerity, his devotion, she appears before him.
Wow.
She grants him his heart's desire, a daughter. But this daughter is no ordinary child. She is named Savitri after the goddess herself, and she is said to radiate with a divine aura.
It's almost as if the goddess herself has taken form in this child. What a powerful image of divine intervention and the transformative power of dedicated spiritual practice.
It truly is. Savitri grows, embodying grace and wisdom, and this inner radiance that captivates all who behold her.
And then into this story steps a young man, Satyavan,
Yes.
residing in a forest hermitage with his parents in exile, described as possessing every noble quality.
Right.
Intelligent, generous, skilled,
Handsome.
almost like a figure from legend. But there's a twist.
There is a shadow hanging over this seemingly perfect picture.
A shadow.
Yes, and it comes in the form of a prophecy delivered by the sage Narada. Yes, he reveals that Satyavan, despite all his virtues, is fated to die in just 1 year.
It's almost the classic archetype, isn't it? The seemingly perfect individual marked by a tragic fate adds a layer of suspense. And this element of predetermined destiny is something that resonates even today.
I agree. It's something we all grapple with. Free will, fate. How much control do we really have over our lives? Are we bound by forces beyond our comprehension? Satyavan's story embodies that age-old question.
What about Savitri? What does she do when she learns about this devastating prophecy?
Here we see Savitri's unwavering resolve. Even knowing Satyavan's fate, she chooses him to be her husband. She declares, "I have chosen him as my husband, and I shall choose not again."
Wow.
This statement reveals her incredible strength of character and her steadfast commitment to her choice, and also her understanding of Dharma, one's personal duty.
Her choice isn't just about romantic love, is it? It's about a deeper commitment to her unsense of duty, her dharma. She refuses to waver, even in the face of death.
Precisely. And this unwavering commitment is something that would have resonated with Sri Aurobindo. I think he saw in Savitri's story an embodiment of the soul's inherent strength, its ability to choose its path, and remain steadfast even when facing immense challenges.
So they marry, and Savitri embraces life in the forest hermitage, dedicating herself to her husband and his parents. It's a simple life, of service, a world away from the royal court where she was raised. But knowing Satyavan's fate, that must always be lurking in the background. How does she navigate that?
She lives each day with grace and devotion, But the knowledge of Satyavan's impending death colors their every moment. It's that duality, the tension between the beauty of the present and the shadow of his fate. And it mirrors the challenges we all face, finding inner peace amidst external turmoil, embracing joy while acknowledging the impermanence of life.
It's a challenge that resonates, I think, particularly strongly with our Gen Z listeners today, navigating a world filled with uncertainty and constant change.
Absolutely. These ancient stories hold such profound lessons for today. Savitri's story reminds us that even in the face of inevitable loss, life can be lived with purpose, with love, and with unwavering commitment to one's Dharma.
So as the year progresses, how does Savitri prepare for this inevitable loss? What steps does she take as that dreaded day approaches?
As the day draws near Savitri, she intensifies her spiritual practice. She undertakes a rigorous 3-night vow, standing, without food or sleep.
3 nights. Without sustenance, it's almost unimaginable.
Well,
What's
yeah.
the significance of a vow like that?
Well, vows in many spiritual traditions are seen as a way to show unwavering commitment. They purify the mind and body and harness willpower, a conduit to tap into this wellspring of inner strength. Savitri's vow showcases not only her dedication to her Dharma, but also this immense love for Satyavan. It's like she's preparing for a spiritual battle, understanding that she'll need every ounce of strength to face what's coming.
And then the inevitable day arrives. Satyavan goes into the forest to gather wood.
Right.
And Savitri, knowing the prophecy, insists on going with him. The tension is really building here.
Absolutely. The anticipation is palpable. We know the prophecy. So we experience the day with this sense of foreboding, watching as Satyavan goes about his daily tasks, oblivious to his impending fate.
And as they're in the forest, Satyavan suddenly becomes ill. This splitting headache, burning pain, a wave of weakness. It's clear that the prophecy is unfolding.
Imagine Satyava at that moment. The moment she's been dreading but preparing for has arrived. She sits with Satyavan, cradling his head in her lap, witnessing the prophecy coming to pass. And then
This is it. Death arrives.
a figure appears before them, radiant, dressed in red, with a glowing crown, a symbol of authority. Yet his face is dark, eyes burning red, and in his hand a noose.
It's a chilling image. Sends shivers down my spine just imagining it.
This is Yama, the god of death, come to claim Satyavan's soul.
Does Savitri cower in the face of death?
Not at all. She lays Satyavan's head on the ground gently and rises to face Yama. Heart pounding, but resolve unwavering. She asks him who he is, why he's come. Yama senses her spiritual purity, her strength, and he reveals his identity and purpose. He's come for Satyavan's soul.
And that's where her courage emerges. Not physical courage like a warrior, but the spiritual courage to confront death itself.
Yes, and what unfolds isn't just a dramatic confrontation. It's a battle of Dharma, a clash of principles. Armed with her knowledge of scripture, her understanding of righteousness, and this unwavering love for Satyavan, Savitri prepares to fight for her husband's soul. This is where the Mahabharata's version of the Savitri story takes on a whole new dimension, one that clearly captivated Sri Aurobindo.
It's interesting that Yama doesn't just see Satyavan's soul. He describes it as virtuous and beautiful and filled with noble qualities.
Right, that detail is significant. It suggests that Satyavan's death isn't a punishment, but the working of fate, a predetermined cosmic order. Even Yama, the god of death, acknowledges Satyavan's goodness.
But that doesn't stop him from completing his mission.
No. Yama casts his noose, extracts Satyavan's soul, and begins this journey southward toward his realm. As Satyavan's soul departs, his body becomes lifeless, pale, a stark reminder of mortality.
Devastating. But does Savitri resign herself to this? Does she just accept this loss?
This is where we see her extraordinary determination, strengthened by her tapasya, her years of spiritual practice, fueled by her unwavering devotion. She follows Yama. She refuses to let him take her husband's soul without a fight.
But how can she possibly fight the god of death?
It's not a physical fight, it's a battle of Dharma. Remember how Yama praised Satyavan's soul, his noble soul? Savitri uses that. She engages Yama in a dialogue, a philosophical debate about the very nature of righteousness.
She's challenging Yama on his own turf, the concept of Dharma.
Exactly. She argues that taking Satyavan's soul before he's had the chance to fully live his Dharma is unjust.
So she's using every tool at her disposal, her devotion, her intellect, her understanding of Dharma, to plead her case. Does it work? Does she sway the god of death?
She does. Yama, moved by her arguments, her commitment, he starts granting her boons.
Boons?
Yes. First he restores her father-in-law's kingdom and his eyesight. Then he grants her own father, Aswapati, 100 sons.
Incredible. It sounds like she's really using this opportunity strategically
Hmm.
to restore what was lost to her family.
Yes, you're right. There is a strategy to her requests. But Savitri understands that without Satyavan, these boons are meaningless. So cleverly, she maneuvers Yama into granting her the ultimate boon,
Yeah.
Satyavan's life.
Wow. How does she manage that? I mean, Yama's pretty formidable.
She uses her wits
Mm.
and the boons he's already granted to her advantage.
Okay.
Remember, Yama granted her the boon of 100 sons. She points out that without Satyavan, this boon, it's impossible to fulfill. She argues that her very existence, her purpose, is intertwined with Satyavan.
She outsmarted the god of death.
She did. Overwhelmed by her eloquence, her devotion, her dharma, Yama releases Satyavan's soul. He tells her that Satyavan is restored to health and can return to Earth with her. He even grants Satyavan an incredibly long lifespan, 400 years.
What a triumph. Her unwavering commitment to her Dharma, her love for Satyavan, her cleverness. She prevailed, even against death itself. It's a true testament to the power of the human spirit.
It really is, and it's this very essence of Savitri's character that resonated so deeply with Sri Aurobindo.
As we've been talking about this story, I can definitely see the parallels between Savitri's story and the themes that Sri Aurobindo explores in his epic poem.
Sri Aurobindo saw in Savitri an archetype of the soul's journey towards a higher consciousness, her descent into the realm of death, her battle with Yama. They symbolize the struggles we face on our own spiritual paths.
So it's not just a story about a woman who cheated death.
Oh.
It's about the soul's potential for growth.
Right, for overcoming darkness and limitations.
And what about Yama? Does he hold a symbolic meaning here?
Yama represents the limitations of our ordinary consciousness, the boundaries of our understanding, the inevitability of death that we perceive as governing our lives. But Savitri, through her courage, her unwavering faith, challenges those limitations. She demonstrates that the soul, through dedicated effort, spiritual practice, can transcend these boundaries.
It's a message of hope and possibility.
Right. Even when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges, the soul has the power to overcome.
Sri Aurobindo's Savitri expands on this ancient tale.
It does, creating this cosmic epic that delves into the depths of human consciousness. He explores the struggle between darkness and light, ignorance and knowledge, death and immortality. His Savitri becomes an embodiment of the Divine Mother, a force of transformative power and love.
So we can see how this ancient story, with its timeless themes, serves as a foundation for Sri Aurobindo's philosophical and spiritual explorations.
Absolutely. These ancient stories, with their deep symbolism, their wisdom, they continue to resonate because they tap into universal truths about the human condition, our struggles, our aspirations, our potential for growth and transformation.
As we finish up this deep dive into this version of the Savitri story, what are the key takeaways, especially for those new to Sri Aurobindo's work?
Savitri's story offers so many powerful lessons. Her unwavering commitment to her Dharma, it teaches us the importance of aligning our actions with our values. Her courage in confronting Yama, it reminds us that we have the power to challenge limitations and strive for a deeper understanding. And her victory over death, it shows us that transformation is possible.
It's a reminder that the journey of the soul is ongoing, a continuous process of growth and transformation. We hope this exploration has provided you with some valuable insights that will enrich your journey through Sri Aurobindo Savitri.
As you delve into the books of Savitri, remember her unwavering spirit, her courage, and her commitment to her Dharma. May her story serve as a source of inspiration and guidance on your own journey of self-discovery.